Okay, business owners, hiring managers, marketing managers, if you're asking yourself the question, do I need a copywriter? Or if you're putting out job posts for job listings for a copywriter, I'm going to convince you in this video one way or the other whether or not you need one. And chances are you probably don't need one. And the reason I say that is because I've been copywriting for several years now. I've worked with some of the biggest brands in the world, including Amazon and Hulu, along with some of the smallest brands in the world. And a lot of times these brands actually don't need a copywriter, or they only need someone who's part-time. However, if you feel like you need a copywriter, I'm going to convince you one way or the other with this video. So let's talk about the options that we have here. So, or the things that you might be thinking about, right? So obviously this is the big one. AI. Have you considered using any of these resources? Claude, ChatGPT, or any of the miscellaneous resources that are available to you. If you haven't used these yet, I would strongly recommend using them because they are free and they save a lot of time. And the way you want to think about these platforms is not as copywriting platforms per se, but copy generation or copy thinking platforms. So when you enter in a prompt here, you're not going to say, hey ChatGPT, like write me an email. What you're going to say is, can you write me an email? Let's just say your email, for example, right? Or it could be an ad. Give me an email in this voice. That can mean like persuasive, that can mean clever. So we want to say, write me an email in this voice, this many characters. So I'll put character count here. And I want the end goal to be, let's say, I want it to convert to this audience. So we're going to say it's going to speak to this audience. So maybe right now it's like job seekers, for example. I want a converting email to get people to click on my job application to make sure that they see this job application and apply using a persuasive voice. And you can even give it references, like reference this email, and you can put whatever reference copy you like in there. Just copy and paste it from a source that you like. And now AI isn't advanced enough to know exactly what you want, so you're gonna have to do some tailoring here. But the reason I even mentioned AI to begin with is because a lot of times this will give you a framework as to what you want to write, and you can just fill in the blanks. And granted, AI is not as advanced as it will be in the next coming years, but it's a great place to start, and AI is already replacing copywriters in corporations. When I was working at Amazon, I left the company, but before I left, even just a few weeks before I left, conversations about using AI and generative AI to produce creative was already coming up. So if big corporations like Amazon are already using AI, then small companies are already using this. So consider using AI first before even thinking about spending money or time on training an employee or a freelancer on your company. That being said, we want to look at time. How long is it taking you right now to write your copy already? And that goes into budget. How much is your time worth? If you're spending 2 hours a week writing copy, and your hourly rate, let's say you make $100 an hour, you're spending $200 an hour for copy. Let's just say 2 hours per week, and you're spending $200. I'm sorry, let's say your hourly rate, let's say it's $200 an hour. You're spending $400 a week on copywriting. If you want someone who's going to write your copy on a full-time basis and who's going to convert the same way you're converting, and you want them on retainer, you want to employ them as a full-time writer, you have to think about how much time you're actually spending. And if you're only spending 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week, even 10 hours a week, and your hourly rate's $1,000, it comes out to $1,000. You have to think about how much is a copywriter going to cost. And so copywriters can cost, a good one might cost up to $10,000 a month. And so if you're only spending, if your hourly rate's $200 an hour, you're spending 2 hours a week, $400 times 4, let's say that's our monthly rate. That gives us $1,600 a month. So in reality here, there's a massive gap as to the time you're putting in and what a copywriter might cost. And now in reality, this would be like a very high level, senior level copywriter who's going to dictate your brand voice, who might even have some legal influence, as in like they know legal and can tell you, hey, this is what you can say here, this is what you can't. A lot of times, if you're a small business especially, and you're only spending a couple hours, even 10 hours a week, it wouldn't be worth it to train a copywriter and hire someone full time. Instead, what you might want to do is just get a VA or a maybe even just a freelancer who's just a general marketer who has somewhat of an understanding of copy. But hiring a dedicated copywriter when you're only spending $1,600 a month yourself writing it might not be worth it. Because for $1,600 a month, let's say you replace your time with someone who's worth $1,600 a month, unless they are very, very high level and working with a ton of clients and can bang out your stuff faster than you're doing it, you're probably not going to get someone great for $1,600 a month. Chances are you're going to get someone who's just dabbling in copywriting and is not a true expert, and that's just my experience. Now you might get lucky and you might find someone who's really, really good, but chances are they'll find out that they're being underpaid and they will move on very, very quickly. That has just been my experience. And the last thing you want to do, and this is probably the biggest thing here, is the channel you're even writing for bringing in your revenue. And so some of these channels include email, SMS, so like text messages, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, any online digital advertising, landing pages, I'll put LP. Any mediums like this, they are pretty much going to guarantee you revenue. However, I have seen opportunities where stuff like billboards, flyers, I have seen opportunities open up for these for small projects. A lot of times you can't directly, there are ways to track this, but it's a lot harder on a brand campaign to track whether or not the copy is converting. Unless you have like a QR code that you're split testing the copy with, it's going to be very hard to track your metrics. And so the reason I'm saying all of this is because a lot of times businesses will come to me saying they need a copywriter, and in reality they can actually just replace their time with AI and cut down the time that they're using, or they can replace it with like a marketing manager who can actually just come in and use all this and build out the systems for you and do copy at the same time. So a marketing manager will be able to handle Facebook ad deployment, email deployment, SMS and text message deployment, and basically build your landing pages for you. A true digital marketing manager will be able to do that. They might cost a little bit more than $1,600 a month. They might even cost a lot more than that, but they'll actually save you all the time that you're already putting in to this 2 hours a week. Maybe this is 10 hours a week, or even 30 hours a week that you're doing all this. A marketing manager might be able to replace all this stuff for you. And a good digital marketing manager will have the experience to do copy that converts out email, SMS, Facebook ads, YouTube, and landing pages. So, all that being said, this is the framework you should go through. Am I using AI? How much time am I spending right now on copy already? What is my budget for this? What channels and what mediums am I writing on? And can I just replace this with a VA or with any of these AI resources that are already available? And to add to this, there are already AI resources that are doing design, advertising, and even some of them are building out full service funnels for you already. So consider using AI first before you go and hire a copywriter. That being said, if I haven't convinced you not to hire a copywriter, consider working with me. My name is Eric DiGiovanni. Like I said earlier, I've already worked with some of the biggest brands in the world, and you can find me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/EricDD. If you have any questions about this video or copywriting in general, shoot me a DM on LinkedIn and we can connect over there. All right, I'll see you in the next video.
Diamo.